So here we have our standard box map. Backface call, editable mesh, all normals facing inward like we've just covered. And we're going to start modifying it to be a little bit better than a simple box. As you know from previous tutorials or just using 3D Studio Max, you can move objects just along these axes or in multiple axes at once. And you can scale them and rotate them and all that good stuff. However, you may not know, you can also do this to each individual sub-object. So each polygon can be rotated, scaled, moved, and you can really do this to whatever kind of shape you want. So you see, without much effort, I've completely changed it from a box map to a sort of weird baseball diamond kind of thing. You can also do this to each individual face if you so choose, and to each vertex. So you can really control a lot about how your map looks just from what's given to you right from the start. And if you need more control over each part, make sure you check your wireframe too. What you can do is, before you change it into an editable mesh, let's create another box here. You can see in the Create tab, when you create a box, you can change the number of segments here in order to give yourself more control. So if I were to take this and make it an editable mesh, I now have even more control over how it looks. But let's say you already built your map, like we have in our little diamond-like thing here, and you want to adjust part of it, but this has already been made. You don't want to add length segments onto a box. You've already built the box. Well, what you do is you go over to tessellate, and you want to change this down to 0. I'll show you what happens if you do 25. You can see it's stretched out on the edges here. So I'm going to undo that and change it to 0. And now if you go into wireframe mode, be sure to press the button, tessellate. Now you'll see that instead of this side, which is just flat, I now have basically 4 individual squares, and I can adjust those as I see fit. And you can tessellate each individual triangle or square as well. Don't get too crazy with this, because my computer might be able to handle it, but yours can't, or the person who playing your map can't, etc. You want to make sure you do something reasonable. And at a certain point, Halo can't handle it either. This is already 197,000 faces. So you don't want to go too crazy with it. I'm going to undo all this, in fact. There we go.